Well, hey, good morning, guys. It's Brad, and I want to show you how I make my collard greens. And please, by all means, some of you good Southern cooks or anyone in the know about collard greens, share your tips as well. I have sauteed in extra virgin olive oil 6 cloves of garlic. I like a good bit of garlic in my collards, and I would say at least a third of a cup of chopped Vidalia onion, maybe a little bit more because I like a good bit of onion in there too. It really enhances the flavor. So you saute these in olive oil until they turn translucent. Do not burn them, whatever you do, because it's easy to do. So you don't want your onions and garlic to turn brown, but you do want them to turn a translucent color. So they're about there. I have bought these triple washed collard greens. Now, often I'll chop my own, but they make kind of a mess and they take a long time. These have a few more stems in them that you generally want to take out, but I don't have time right now. So I'm going to put this entire bag of collards, and let's see what this weight is. It's about a pound. Let's see what it says. Well, I can't really tell. I would say this is about a pound of collard greens, maybe 2. Comes in a bag. They're triple washed. You can certainly wash them again, but for the sake of time, I'm not going to because I bought these before. They're not gritty. And you just basically dump them in on top of the sauteed garlic and onions. Now it looks like you're going to have to stuff the pot. This is a fairly large pot, but they will cook down like spinach, but not quite as much as spinach. So go ahead and just stuff them in there. Put them all in there. Now that's one big stem that I don't want in there. The stems are not tender. Like I say, when you cut them yourself, you can get most of the stems out, but often, and there's a little yellow piece right there, so you kind of have to pick through them. But often I will just go ahead and put the entire bag in, and it looks like the pot is overflowing. Now what you want to do is fill the pot with water. Again, it's going to appear to be overflowing, but it's really not. So these came from Publix. This is a pretty good brand. I'll show you the bag in just a minute. Cover them with water. Okay, and get the water almost to the top. If you cook them kind of low and slow, the water is not going to leak out while they're cooking. So that's pretty good. Alright, put them back on the stove. And then I add just a little bit less than a cup of salt. Excuse me, a quarter of a cup of salt. Definitely not a cup to this size bag. And I use a pretty goodly amount of just regular fine ground pepper. And then I use red pepper flakes. Let's say about a half teaspoon, maybe a little bit more. And you turn these on high. Get my high thing right. And just let these start to boil. Once they come to a boil, turn them down to about, I'd say to about medium low. But you gotta cover them, obviously. So let me get my cover out here, right here. Cover your pot, even though it looks like it's going to overflow. I assure you it will not once they start cooking. So you don't have to mix them all up with the salt, the seasonings, and everything right now. But once they start cooking, stir them around a little bit to get all the seasonings mixed around. So after about 2.5 to 3 hours, you might want to see if they're tender enough for your taste, and if not, cook them a little bit longer. If you like them a little less tender or a little less cooked, you don't have to cook them quite as long, but cook them on kind of medium-low for 2.5 to 3 hours, I would say. Now, I'm going to do something that's a little bit egregious to Southern folks. Typically do not like sugar in collards or in cornbread, but I'm adding about a half teaspoon of sugar, and it cuts the salty taste, and it really does make them just a little bit more tender and flavorful. So I don't like meat in my collards, and I don't like a meaty taste to them, so this is a totally vegan way to fix your collards. And like I say, let them come to a boil, and then cook them on medium-low 2 to 3 hours, depending on the tenderness you like, and you got a wonderful pot of collards, and they're even better the next day. And be sure to retain the juice, because that's called pot liquor that you can sop up with bread, cornbread, whatever kind of bread you like to eat with them, and they're so much better warmed up the next day. So those are my southern collard greens. They're nutritious, they're wonderful, and I hope you enjoy this recipe, and let me know if you make it and how they turn out.